Foundation's Profiles in the Law. I'm your host for this program. My name is Jesse Reyes. I am president of the Diversity Scholarship Foundation and current Illinois Appellate Court Justice. And as we've mentioned in the past, we tried to have some very prominent members of the legal profession in our program, and today is no exception. We have the current president of the South Asian Bar Association, Neha Khandhadia. Welcome.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. So before we talk about the South Asian Bar Association, otherwise known as SABA, could you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am a partner at Goldstein & McClintock. I've been a lawyer for almost 9 years, and I do primarily litigation work, so representing companies getting sued or suing each other, and then also representing companies who are getting investigated by the government or want to perform some type of internal investigation. And
your current firm is what's known as a large firm, right?
It's actually a boutique. So I spent 8.5 years in the large firm setting.
Okay.
And then last year I transitioned to a smaller boutique firm, which is about 20 to 25 lawyers.
Okay. And you're not a native to the Chicagoland area?
I am not, no.
Okay. All right. Now, you happen to come from the East, Michigan.
Yes.
Okay. And you went to school at Michigan?
I went to school in Michigan. I am a proud double Wolverine.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. But also, you came from further up north, right?
Yeah. So I was born in Canada. My parents first immigrated to Canada. We spent 12 years there. I was born in Montreal. And then in the early 90s, we moved to Michigan.
Okay. And have you ever had a chance to go back to Montreal at all? Or?
Yeah. We go
nice.
back. We have some family there. It's been a little bit, but it's beautiful. Have you ever been?
Yes, and I've enjoyed it when I've been there. Yes, it's a very
great.
Beautiful city, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you have a role model in your family. Could you tell us a little bit about your grandmother?
Yeah, absolutely. So my grandmother, she was a teacher for 40 years in India. She did Montessori education, which she learned from Madame Montessori herself.
Wow.
At the University of Pune. And I was very, very lucky when I was born. She decided to retire and come live with us and help raise me. In addition to being a teacher, she was also a freedom fighter. She was part of the independence movement in India, so she hosted rallies for Gandhi. And she was just a really big people person and very much about community, so I learned a lot from her.
So she actually got to meet Gandhi?
Yeah, she did.
Oh,
she did,
wow.
yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. She said, one time she told me that there was a picture somewhere with him with his arm around her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Nice. So you come from that ilk in terms of fighting for rights and advocating for people?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say, advocating for people, finding ways to build community, build bridges between different communities, and collaborating. I watched my grandma do that all my life. She was super active in the senior citizens community at the temple. She was really involved in the Troy Library, where Troy, the city I grew up in. And so, I watched how she built bridges and also was a strong advocate as well for what she believed was right.
Yeah, no, and that kind of explains why you got so involved with the SABA organization.
Yeah. I've been involved with SABA on the board since 2022. I served as secretary for 2 years and then president-elect and now president.
So can you tell our viewers a little bit about SABA, the history of SABA?
Yeah. So the South Asian Bar Association of Chicago started in 2000, and the mission of the organization is to help elevate and provide professional services to attorneys and also mentor law students and young attorneys. It is about celebrating and elevating the South Asian legal community in the Chicagoland area, but also about just including as many voices as possible. So we try to be very inclusive in terms of our membership, the types of speakers and people that we get involved.
Right. Because originally the organization was known as the Indian American Bar Association.
That's right. That's right.
And then you decided to open it up for everybody.
Yes. Indian Americans are one piece of that South Asian population, right?
Yes.
Like there's Pakistani Americans, Bangladeshi Americans. There's so many people within that South Asian umbrella that should feel represented and should feel included within our membership.
That's great. And if anybody was interested in joining or participating in any of the events that SABA may have, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so you can follow us on social media. We have an active Instagram account and LinkedIn account. And then our website is sabachicago.org, where we have our list of events. We just had one that you attended, our judicial reception, which was a fantastic event attended by almost 150 to 200 people.
Yes.
It was fantastic. So
Yes, no, it was a very enjoyable event, and I have to say I also enjoyed the food.
everybody enjoyed the food.
I love South Asian food, so that was another draw.
Yeah.
And you also open it up, the organization, you open it up to law students as well, right?
Yes, so law students get free admission to become members of the organization. So, and we try to, we know that a lot of these events are not always affordable for law students. So we try to provide, if it's a ticketed event, we try to do a discount for law students. And then a lot of our events are free. Our panels, we've started doing workout events and other happy hours. They're free to attend. So we do encourage law students to come.
Right. And also, you encourage them to come, but also participate, right?
Yes. So they unfortunately cannot participate on the board as law students, but we encourage them to get involved as early as possible. In law school, it's really important to come and network, and you get to meet a lot of different attorneys who are doing all sorts of different things, right? Law firms, judges, in government. So it's an opportunity to network for them. And then when they get out, they've already have this built-in network of people that they can talk to, get coffee with.
And just so that hopefully helps their transition from going from law student to lawyer.
Yeah, I think I definitely wish I'd gotten involved earlier. I moved here to start working at McDermott, Will & Emery in 2016. I didn't get involved in SABA, and I had no idea at the time just how vast the network was. With, SABA, with ABA, all the bar associations their networks are so vast, and everybody wants to help.
Sure.
And, I wish I'd gotten involved earlier, so I would definitely encourage people to get involved in a bar association early.
And I understand that SABA is also an affiliate or involved with the national organization as well.
Yes, so we're involved with two actually national organizations. So SABA North America, so the South Asian Bar Association North America, and NAPABA, the National Asian Pacific Bar Association. We're an affiliate of both. And so as a SABA member, for NAPABA, you get a free membership associated, which is great because they have all sorts of events. There's all sorts of resources available to you from the national networks that you get as a SABA member.
And those opportunities are also available to students if they wanted to get involved nationally?
Yes, absolutely. I think, again, it's something I didn't do, and luckily I got involved with NAPABA, pretty early on, 2017. I got involved with NAPABA through some mentors and friends at at McDermott. And so I started getting that exposure really young, and I think that has helped me so much in terms of my network and people who I can reach out to and talk to about just regular career advice or just life.
That's great. And again, what's your website?
It's sabachicago.org.
Great. And then any information or anything that anybody wants to know about SABA, they can find on the website?
Yes. So our upcoming events, how to become a member. You can sign up for our newsletter. So if you're not sure yet about becoming a member, you can become a subscriber of our newsletter first. And that way you'll get kind of updates on events that we're doing, on past events, and on general community news. Because we have, a lot of organizations reach out to us or law firms that have job postings. We always post those in our newsletter. So there's a lot of great resources available.
Right, and a lot of good reasons to become a member of SABA.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And one of the things I want to mention in terms of, everybody working well together, I know you're no longer with McDermott, but yet they hosted your installation.
Yes, they did. I have always tried to keep really good relationships with, it's so important. The legal community is so small that keeping good relationships with former employers, people that you worked with previously is so important. And McDermott, even now, continues to be a fantastic supporter of my career and my work as president of SABA. So I'm really grateful to them and really happy they hosted my installation, which was wonderful.
Right. And that's one thing I think a lot of people don't realize, even people within the law school community, that the legal community, particularly in Chicago, it's a small community.
Yeah.
And everybody knows everybody, and we all work well together. And so it's important to always keep those networks going. And, always being nice to everybody and be respectful of everybody, because you never know who's related to who or who you might know, right?
Absolutely. I
mean, that's the Chicago way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some of the ideas or initiatives that you've already started and that you want to do down the road?
Yeah, so this year with SABA, we approached it with a couple themes in mind. So inclusion and collaboration was one, and that was a focus on collaborating with different bar associations, different inclusive events. Community engagement was the other, so engaging with the community at large and the South Asian community. And then mental health and wellness was the other. So that's a huge passion of mine. I think it's so important with the legal profession. The stats people talk about when it comes to mental health within our profession, it's really tough to look at sometimes. And then you add, I think, the South Asian element where there's still a little taboo about mental health. I really wanted to focus on that mental health and wellness piece. So some of the things we've done within those categories, we've collaborated with a lot of different bar associations, and we want to keep doing that. So we've collaborated with the Women's Bar, with the Asian American Bar, with who else? With Decalogue as well. We've done a lot of cross collaborations, Muslim Bar, and we want to keep doing that. We've done happy hours with them. We've co-sponsored different events, charity events with different bar associations. In terms of the community engagement piece, we do a monthly pro bono clinic with the Indo-American Center and the Chicago Volunteer Legal Services. And so we continue to do that every month. And then we also started partnering again with some more community organizations. So, for example, we co-sponsored a screening of the documentary To Kill a Tiger, which is about a father in rural India's struggle to fight for justice for his daughter who was sexually assaulted. And we partnered with the people who created the film and a couple other local organizations to put on a screening of it here. And so that was a really great event. And, you know, it goes to bringing attention to and trying to prevent gender violence just overall across the board. In terms of our mental health and wellness initiative, we've been doing workout classes and yoga classes every quarter. So we've done a combination of kind of the more intense, like a Barry's boot camp, and then we've done the yoga classes as well. So open to everyone of all levels. We've been, and we've opened that up to anyone who wants to attend those.
And if anybody was interested, where would they go to be part of this class?
Yeah, they can go to our website to sign up, sabachicago.org. So we have one of those coming up at the end of this month. We're partnering with Orange Theory to put on a class. So we're going to do that. Nice. And then we also have, hosted by the law firm Johnson & Bell, we're going to have a fireside chat with one of their litigators at the end of this month as well. So that will be really great.
All right. And do you happen to know any of the instructors?
I personally don't know any of the instructors, but we have been leveraging some of our membership you really seem to enjoy the classes, and it's something different for them. So, you know, a couple people have offered I go to this Orange Theory and we can host a class for you, which has been really nice. So again, the membership sort of helping out and coming through for us. Yeah.
Now, you also mentioned you interact with certain organizations that are in the community. CVLS, which is the Chicago Volunteer Legal Services. So could you mention a little bit about what they do to help out people in the community?
Yeah, absolutely. So CVLS partners with a lot of the bar organizations to help put on clinics, and with the sort of ultimate goal of creating kind of this volunteer network of attorneys throughout the Chicagoland area that can help with pro bono cases. And so they provide a lot of resources on their website. They have, you know, one-pagers. They can help. They have attorneys who can help support you as a volunteer. You know, if you're taking on a case that involves a divorce, they have an attorney who can help you, you know, help the client, you know, file for that petition and do all the work related to that. But the ultimate goal for Chicago Legal Services is to create a network of volunteers that can take on these cases and that can help people within the community who otherwise can't afford legal services.
Right. And all someone needs to do is just call, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can call them, or you can, you know, try to find one of the legal clinics. So like our legal clinic, which is usually on the third Saturday of every month. You can work with the Indo-American Center to get signed up for the clinic. And it'll be a 30-minute consultation. And then we'll see if, you know, your situation requires, you know, more complex legal services, or whether it's something that a volunteer at CVLS can help you with.
And you also mentioned the Indo-American Center.
Yes.
So could you tell our viewers a little bit about that organization as well?
Yeah, so the Indo-American Center is up on Devon. It is a center that sort of supports and provides resources to the community. Of course, our legal clinic is open to everybody, but you know, a lot of their services are for, you know, that South Asian and just that community in that area.
Right.
And, you know, I know they do a number of events, and we've talked about partnering with them on a number of events, not just, you know, a legal clinic, but, you know, what other resources can we offer in terms of, you know, helping the elderly community there, in terms of making sure they're tech savvy and things like that.
Right. Yeah, and as you mentioned, because I've been there and I've supported the center.
Yeah.
But it is open to everyone. You don't
Right.
necessarily just have to be from the South Asian community.
Correct.
Which is great, and I think it's very commendable that you as president and members of SABA are out there trying to help others that are disadvantaged.
Yes.
Because sometimes they don't know where to turn.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people, they don't navigating the legal space as somebody who's not a lawyer can be so daunting, and sometimes they do just need 30 minutes to talk to somebody and point them in the right direction, right? Or and they just don't know where to start, right? And they just need somebody to help them find where to start in the process.
Right. Now, also, I want to mention, so you're first generation.
I am, yes.
As a lawyer.
Yes.
So any advice for, anybody out there that is first generation or maybe be thinking about going into law?
Yeah. I think that a couple things, when you're looking into it, I think doing as much research as you can, try to find somebody within your network or within your community who is a lawyer or somebody that you can reach out to and talk to. Our organization is open to that, right? We get emails from people saying, I'm looking at becoming a lawyer, and what resources can you point me to? There's a lot of resources available to just kind of peruse and look around. So make sure that you're utilizing whatever resources you can. I know that can sometimes be hard because, for me, I didn't have anybody in my family who was a lawyer. My parents are engineers, so this was a whole foreign we were traversing some foreign terrain here.
Right, and you were new to Chicago.
New to Chicago as well, and so getting involved in organizations is also really good, and getting involved in the community can really help sort of you build your network. And I didn't have really any connections or anything in the Chicago community either. But getting involved in SABA really helped. And then, in terms of being a lawyer and coming into a law firm setting as a young lawyer, I think the best thing you can do to set yourself up for success is be sort of a sponge for knowledge. So, for me, for example, I'm a litigator, and the end of my first year, beginning of my second year, I joined this case team, and I just became the master of the facts for the litigation. So I knew every document, I knew the timeline inside and out. And as a result of that, I got a lot of opportunities given to me because the partner would talk to me and realize that I know the case so well that I should be given an opportunity to do more advanced work. And so just being a sponge and trying to absorb as much as you can to try to help your team. You're not going to know the legal ins and outs, right? The legal analysis is not going to come easily to you. But knowing the facts of something, knowing, where, in a deal agreement, knowing what all provisions are in there backwards and forwards, that could really help you advance.
Right. That's great. And I think, your point is don't be afraid to get involved.
Yes.
And you have a great resource through SABA.
Yes, absolutely.
And SABA's open to everybody, so there's no excuse not to get involved, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No excuse.
And then what's your website again?
SABAchicago.org.
Great, thanks. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you so much.
And again, I want to commend you for all the work that you're doing. I think that's very commendable, considering that you're a busy litigator, working every day. So the fact that you give back, that's gratifying to hear.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So that completes our program for today. It's been a pleasure. And again, we invite you to join us next month when we continue on with Profiles in the Law. This has been the Diversity Scholarship Foundation's ongoing program, and I've been your host, Jesse Reyes, and it's been a pleasure to have you watching us today.